2 days ago, Russia received a new Minister of Defense, old Soviet economist Andrei Belousov, who never served in the army. Sergei Shoigu, the previous Minister of Defense and a close friend of Vladimir Putin, was transferred and to a new job and became the head of the Security Council of Russia. It's safe to say that Sergei Shoigu has been nullified, and Andrei Belousov becoming the Minister of Defense is good news for Ukraine. Yet, over the last 24 hours or so, I received many messages with people disagreeing with these opinions. They're saying that Shoigu has in fact been promoted and Belousov will make Russian army stronger. Right now, I'd like to explain why Shoigu is kaput and Belousov is in fact good for the Ukrainian army and for Ukraine in general. Howdy, friends. Welcome to Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin, and this is the place where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian, me. Right now, so many news are happening in Russia that I changed the message for this stream. Initially, I was going to make the stream about the war of Russian clans, but that's a big topic, and I feel like what I'm going to say today to you is more important. This channel, as usual, no propaganda, BS or lies, only truth, common sense, and logic. Before I start, please be informed, if you're here for the first time, that my live streams always consist of 3 parts. First part is the main message, about 30 minutes or so. Then the live stream, chat, where we discuss and share opinions, and we finish with prayer. You're welcome to watch in any way, any part you'd like, and join anywhere you want. Thank you. First things first, I wanted to tell you about the message again. The war of the clans is happening. Holy moly, there's so many news now. I easily could have made 5 live streams today. There's enough interesting topics for that. Yet, the winners and the losers, probably in a couple days, when the picture becomes... The news are... Things are happening at this point, okay? For example, we just received news a few hours ago that Nikolai Patrushev, Russia's Great Cardinal, was transferred from being the head of Security Council to small-time assistant in the chief of President's staff. Same for Kaluga governor, Dumin, one of the rising stars of Russian politics. He was given the same position as Patrushev. So news are breaking. Constantly, every single hour, something new. But with what I saw today, I think I find the most important thing is to explain of what I said yesterday about Shoigu and about Belousov. Now, let's get it over with and then move to different news. Again, what really attracted my attention, how people think that Sergei Shoigu has actually been promoted, that he wasn't fired but was given a better job, a higher position. And that a Russian army with Belousov will be in a better shape, and therefore it's bad for Ukraine, not good. Well, let me shed light on these issues. First, let's talk about Sergei Shoigu. Again, Sergei Shoigu was fired from the position of the Minister of Defense and appointed to a new job, the head of Security Council of Russian Federation. Many people, both inside and outside Russia, are saying, well, Shoigu is promoted. This is BS. A few days ago, Sergei Shoigu was the second most powerful man in Russia. He had control over the armed forces of Russia. He had tanks, thousands of tanks, planes, nuclear button, money flows. He had 1.5 million well-trained and armed servicemen under his direct command. Okay? People who are sworn to take orders from Sergei Shoigu, not to think, not to discuss, not to second guess, just to execute order, to obey. This is what Sergei Shoigu had last week. Today, he has nothing. He has no real power whatsoever. Well, he's still got allowance from the government. He has a job. He has a pay. Pretty much, I think it's a very good pay. I'm not sure how much, but I'm pretty sure he's paid well. He has a car. He has a driver. His car has a siren in it, so when Shoigu rides in the car and all over Moscow, everyone must give him way. Yeah, that he does. He has a few secretaries, perhaps a dozen of secretaries, and couple people who schedule his meetings, telephone calls, and so forth. But that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah, he has a very nice deputy, Dmitry Medvedev, okay, very important man. I say that Sergei Shoigu has been nullified. He has been from second most important man, most powerful man in Russia, has been thrown to the very bottom of the vertical of power. But some say, what about Patrushev? Konstantin, you said it yourself many times, that Patrushev was a gray cardinal, the puppet master. You said it yourself, right? And then he held the same position, the head of the Security Council. Well, friends, yes, I'm still saying that. I'm still saying that Nikolai Patrushev is the gray cardinal, and he's behind many things that are happening. And he is taking very active role in this government shakeup. I'm not sure whether he is the initiator, but he's definitely the advisor to this process, and he does make decisions in some ways. Now, it's not his job, it's his character. His power is in his character. He's been in Russian politics since early 90s as Silovik. He was the head of KGB for so long, and then he became the head of the Security Council. He put so many KGB generals, he promoted them. They are loyal to Sergei Patrushev still. He knows everyone who is everyone. He knows he's a good friend of, very close friend of Vladimir Putin. He helped Putin a great deal when he was young and just became the president. Position that Patrushev held was just the title, just the place. The real power is in him, not in the position that he held. Sergei Shoigu, on the contrary, had power in his position of the Minister of Russian Federation, because that's how Russia is structured, okay? The armed forces is the real force. We see an example 1 year ago in June of 2024. Yevgeny Prigozhin, with some say 5,000 troops, some say 20,000 troops, was able to move freely inside Russia to capture 1 million people city of Rostov-on-Don, to capture Russia's Ministry of Defense HQ, Southern HQ command, along with 2 top-ranked generals. He held them hostage. He was able to move to Moscow, some 1,000 kilometers in a matter of a few hours. And some say that he captured near Voronezh a facility with nuclear bombs. That is the real power of armed and trained servicemen, soldiers. And then Shoigu was much more powerful than that. And that was his position. So it doesn't matter where Nikolai Patrushev is transferred to. Now he's small potatoes inside President's chief of staff. But that doesn't make his status, okay? Firing of Sergei Shoigu, and he was fired as a Minister of Defense, was executed as a secret KGB operation. Now we have insights coming in. It had been prepared before Putin was inaugurated. It had been prepared probably way before. And I heard some, very strange KGB movements. They were taking over the Ministry of Defense, and it was said that they were just heightening security due to the May Day parade, the V-Day parade. In reality, they were preparing the operation to fire Sergei Shoigu. Because, hey, when they fire the Minister of Defense, how do you know that at the last moment when decision is made and the Minister of Defense knows about that, how do you know that he doesn't give order to his elite units near Moscow to move on to Moscow and help him out in the Ministry of Defense building? How can you be sure of that? So it was an operation. And Sergei Shoigu is not alone in the vertical of power. And actually, every single member of the evil leadership, every single minister, every single member of Putin's inner circle is not alone. Lonely members don't make it there. They don't survive. Okay, you've got to have a team. And Sergei Shoigu had a team of very loyal people. And this team is being destroyed right now, literally. Two most important members of his team, Timur Ivanov and Yuri Kuznetsov, are arrested. Timur Ivanov was arrested a couple of weeks ago, and Yuri Kuznetsov was arrested today, 2 days after his old boss was moved to become the head of the Security Council. So who was Yuri Ivanov? He was multiple star general who was in charge, basically HR of the army. He was placing generals into their positions. Yes, he was fired. He's charged with taking a bribe. Surprise, surprise. Guess what's happening to other members of Shoigu's team? They are quitting by dozen. He's losing everyone inside Ministry of Defense. I'm pretty sure that all his, teams of his members of his team were warned. If they stay, they will be arrested too. Ivanov and Kuznetsov, prime examples. They are people who are not going to get out of jail. They either going to spend the rest of their life, or they will accidentally fall out of the windows. Now, his clan, in Putin's Russia, any silovik, any politician is only as strong as his team is strong. So Shoigu doesn't have a team any longer. And I will talk more about his team and how it's being destroyed and what's going to happen to him in the next stream. I told you I have so many topics now because news keep on coming out. Shoigu's clan, Shoigu's group was not the only one. Obviously, it's one of many. And Shoigu and his clan are big losers of this shakeup. There are winners and there are other losers as well. So anyway, back to Shoigu. Timur Ivanov in prison. Timur Ivanov holds all secrets of Sergei Shoigu because Timur Ivanov was in charge of his financier. He's Mr. Nicolas Fouquet. I don't know if you've heard that name or not, of modern day. He's arrested. He knows all the secrets. Yuri Kuznetsov arrested today. He knows all the secrets. Shoigu is alone, isolated, and given a position where he has no resources, no power. He doesn't have any people, he doesn't have any money flow, and he doesn't have any ability to influence others by making norms, standards, laws, nothing. That's a nominal position. Let me tell you a story of Nicolas Fouquet. No, you know what? Next time. It's a very interesting. Let me know in the comments. Do you know who's French superintendent for French King Louis XIV, Nicolas Fouquet was? It's a very famous story. I was surprised to know that not too many people know it, but it's definitely worth listening. Most likely in the next stream, I will start the next stream with this story, which is going to be on Thursday. Very interesting. I will compare Nicolas Fouquet with Timur Ivanov. And it's amazing because it's absolutely similar situations, only divided by, 300 years. Incredible. So anyway, based on all of this, I claim that Sergei Shoigu has not been promoted. Moreover, he's not even been demoted. He has been nullified. He had real power in his hands. He had money. He had influence. He had people in right places. Now he has no influence, no money, no power, no employees, no one to give orders to. And everyone in the vertical of power knows that. And everyone is going to get him, to kick him on the way down. When I was getting my corporate job for the first time, there was one guy in the USA, and he worked for Key Corp back then, Key Bank, Key Corporation. He was a financial advisor or something like that. And he gave me an advice. He said, you're about to start your first executive job at a large company. He said, I won't forget that. He said, watch who you screw on the way up, because they're going to screw you on your way down. And right now, everyone is doing that to Sergei Shoigu, because, oh boy, he's got so many enemies. The only members of his team alive and well fairly is Gerasimov. No one knows where Gerasimov is and what his health is, but there are people with the inside making forecasts that Gerasimov will be next, and they give him a couple months, and he will be fired. We will see if he's going to be arrested or he will be given a new job. We'll see about that. But anyway, Shoigu has not been promoted. You cannot call that promotion. He controls nothing. He doesn't control Siloviki. Patrushev did. Well, he didn't control, but he oversaw. Because of his status, because of who he is, because what positions he held in the past. You can't compare him to Shoigu. So, let's get it over with. Shoigu has been nullified. Not promoted, but nullified. He's nobody now. Now, let's talk about why the new Minister of Defense is actually good for Ukraine. If you haven't watched my video I made yesterday, the link is right here. Check it out. It's about the process of what happened, about the new Minister of Defense, Andrei Belousov. Now, very briefly, who the guy is. He is an old economist. He actually looks very good. He looks fairly young, but he's old. He graduated from Moscow State University in 1981, and he's worked as economist ever since. In the 90s, he went into politics. He became a bureaucrat, not really politics, the government. He's not a politician, he's a bureaucrat. You gotta know a few things about Belousov. The new Minister of Defense of Russian Federation is old-time Gosplan supporter. He supports the idea that the state must be strong and must control everything. He doesn't support the idea that there's an invisible hand in the markets that balances everything and everybody out. Okay, there are two different concepts, and his concept, well, that's what he knows. That's how he was educated and how he worked for the first 10 years of his life. Moreover, he's coming out from a family of old Soviet economists. His father was a big boss at Gosplan, and he was taking part of creating Kosygin reforms. Reformations, upgrading. Anyway, I talked about it, made a stream some time ago. Andrei Belousov has been proven his idea, his love for the strong state in the last few months. In 2023, his main idea, what he's remembered by, is that he was running around in the markets, in the economy of Russia, knocking on different oligarchs' doors and pressing everyone into paying the windfall tax. Windfall tax is one-time fee that basically extortion that in times of need a state gets from large corporations or from everyone. In Russian case, it was large corporations, the oligarchs. His reason for extorting windfall tax from companies was very odd, but many Russians liked it. His reasoning was this: well, the country has been allowing you to make so much money in the past 15 years. Now you gotta pay something back. I mean, everyone has been paying taxes every year. Everyone's been good with the government. Everyone's, following norms, regulations. And this guy shows up and goes, no, that's not enough. Retrospectively, for the past 15 years, you gotta come up with more money. Because we allowed you to do business in the last 15 years. Now you gotta pay us back. That's mafia-like extortion. And that's what Belousov was doing. And he was actually very good at it. He came up with $3 billion for Vladimir Putin. And some were saying that is a birthday present or some kind of a present to Putin. Putin promoted him and made him the Ministry of Defense. And that is great for Ukraine. Now, I have heard so many people coming back and saying, Konstantin, that's not great for Ukraine. Belousov is a professional economist. Now, what he's going to be doing is making war economy, the military-industrial complex, run more efficient, run better. Wrong. Now, this is my reasoning. This is the first time that I am proven right by Vladimir Putin himself. Now, if you're regular in my live streams, you must remember that so many times I've said this. Vladimir Putin in Ukraine is in the position of Zugzwang. That's a position in the game of chess where every single move brings the player into a worse position. And I kept saying this: Vladimir Putin cannot go forward. Army isn't capable of advancing, okay? But then he cannot go back and withdraw troops to Russia because he's going to be facing very angry people saying, why the fudge, and I didn't mean fudge, did you go into Ukraine in the first place? Not to win, but just what? To kill all the Russians, not to achieve anything and withdraw the troops? Why did you do that? And then he would be facing very, very hard questions and actions. So I was a little off because Zugzwang really is now. For the 2 years, Vladimir Putin stood in one place in Ukraine, near Russian border. He did not move, he couldn't move forward, he couldn't move backwards, but he was keeping the ground. But now, at this point, by appointing the new Minister of Defense of Russian Federation, he proves that he is in real Zugzwang. He cannot even stand the ground. And this is the key concept, folks. Now he cannot keep the ground because he's got to do something. He's either going to win fast or lose fast or whatever. But if he keeps on standing ground, he's going to run out of money. This is why he introduced a guy who is as far as from anything military as Mars from Uranus, and made him the Minister of Defense. This guy does not control anything military. This guy is only about the economy. Putin has proved me right. The economic tsunami is here. The economy is not sustainable. He does not have any money left. And it was proven today because towards the end of the day, in the evening, everyone started talking, including Belousov, who spoke in front of Russian parliament and Russian senators. He started saying, look, we are going to make the military-industrial complex more efficient and, listen to this, cut costs. That is why he is made the new Minister of Defense. He is going to cut costs. Putin, I don't know, whoever, they're thinking there's too much money being spent. There's too much corruption. We need to send someone in to actually clean up all this mess. And they are sending Belousov to clean up all the mess. Because I guess he's a good candidate for that. But for the first time, Vladimir Putin admitted that he cannot stand the ground. And that, my friends, is very good for Ukraine. Very good news. Now, not only good news. Another good news is that, from what I understand, Belousov is going to be changing the way Russian army works. Because in order to cut costs, in order to reform how the army works, you need major changes. Major. How military-industrial complex supplies army with things, stuff, weapons, ammo, everything needed. You see, military-industrial complex, for the most part, was privatized in the 90s and the 2000s. And that has allowed for, basically free market for the army. It's allowed for enterprises of the military-industrial complex to get freedom in their business activity. Well, that freedom has been taken away step by step, starting February 2022. Because of the war, Russian military-industrial complex does not have freedom anymore. It has orders from Putin, from the state, to produce more and more weapons, okay? But what has been given in place of freedom in exchange for freedom is money. Like I've been saying, military-industrial complex has been showered with money. But the thing is, money is running out. Vladimir Putin does not have money. I've been saying for so many months, and now we're seeing it. It's right here. What do they do now? They need stuff, but they don't have money. Well, they re-privatize everything. They steal, they take back, they nationalize military-industrial enterprises, and they simply start controlling them, just like what they did in the USSR. And this is where this good fella Belousov comes in handy, because remember where he came from? Gosplan, from the USSR. He loves the idea of state controlling everything, and his goal is to create this system. But guess what? You can't do that. You can't do that now. You want to reform army? That's a very lengthy process. More than one person needed, and probably it's a decade-long affair. And you certainly cannot be engaged in the middle of a bloody war when you're trying to rehaul your economy. And this is what they're trying to do right now. And that will put Russian army into chaos and to the turmoil. And that is, my friends, very good for Ukraine. I don't know. Do I need to say anything else? That alone is huge. I'm pretty sure that there's already a plan. Like I said, news come in every day. And they're pretty, well, I can't say disturbing. I mean, I like them. Another plant is being nationalized in Russia. The government is taking it back. The state is taking it back. Probably in the Friday news update, I will cover it. Belousov is hard at work. He will be changing the system. He will be changing the way how Russian army works. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, that's not going to be good. Shoigu was very ineffective, but army was functioning under Shoigu, okay? Everyone knew how to get things supplied. Everyone knew the times. Everyone knew the prices and so forth. Now, imagine if the enterprises, I'll just give you an example. You produce, let's say, a drone for $1,000. And then you have shareholders of the company, you have management, you have workers. And all of a sudden, the shareholders are stripped of the ownership of the company. And as a state commissar comes in, let's say Belousov, and says, okay, we're taking this enterprise, this factory back. Now you belong to the government. And you must produce more drones, and they must cost less. You must sell it to the army for, let's say, 20% less. How do you do that? Your either time is going to suffer, but you can't not meet deadlines because prison for that, or quality. And then imagine how many supervisors will be coming from the government, checking and everything. Imagine how much paperwork is going to be involved, okay? Imagine you will have to get new managers who will be checking the new for, the conducting the new processes to make sure everything is conducted right. That's going to be turmoil for the manufacturing facilities, and that's going to be turmoil for the army because they will not be getting supplied. Can they reform the army? Yes, of course they can, but it's going to take them so many years, let's say from 5 to 10, and you can't do it in the war. You will lose. That's why I'm saying it's good news for Ukraine. And I'm pretty sure that we're gonna start seeing the good news now, very soon. I'm pretty sure that we will see the offensive failing, but let's give it some time. Friends, at the very end of the message, I'm going to tell you this. Belousov is not controlling the army itself. He's geared, he's oriented toward the military-industrial complex, the enterprises. Who's controlling the army? The chief of staff? Well, where is he? Nowhere to be found. There are rumors of his dismissal. Even if he's alive and well, imagine how he's performing when there are so many rumors that he's on the way out, that his boss is on the way out to meet Yevgeny Prigozhin soon. There are rumors like that. I don't think that's well. And there's no brilliant general inside, because Vladimir Putin just can't have anyone brilliant in the military to take charge. Because if army accepts a general and unites behind a general, that will become a force inside Russian Federation that is absolutely not needed to Vladimir Putin. And that is very good news for Ukraine. Let him run the army himself. How about that? That old man in the Kremlin, see how he does. Friends, thank you so much. That has been my message. I would love to invite everyone to live stream chat right now. And please, please, please ask your questions. I will answer as many as I can. We're not going to have a very long live stream chat for about half an hour. 1:15, we will have to cut it short. So thank you. In the comments, please let me know. Are you convinced that Shoigu is Kaput has not been promoted and that Belousov is good for Ukraine? Was I convincing enough or not? I would love to know your opinion. I'll see if more people will come out and say, well, Konstantin, again, Shoigu's been promoted. Again, after what you've said, again, it's not good for Ukrainian army because Russian army is going to be so much more effective. So was I able to convince you or not? Thank you. Whew. Well, I am convinced. This is my opinion, and not too many. This is what I don't really listen to many other opinions, but I have not heard this opinion at this point. That's what I think. I don't understand how you can think otherwise. Fantastic to see everyone. The usual suspects. Howdy, howdy. Let me know if you liked my video yesterday, that I uploaded yesterday. First of all, thank you for coming, wonderful mods. Lorna, Mommy, Harry, Dirk, Bob, and Amir. If you're here for the first time, please know that this community has the best moderators in the world. Thank you, friends. And, by the way, this community has the best community, the best people in the world, too, the usual suspects. Starting with Airborne Snail, Ken, Terry, Carano, Ferrari Guy, Frank in Texas, Paula, Pinda the Peanut, Jeffrey. By the way, congratulations, Pinda. That's fantastic news that you have addition to your family. That's what it's all about. We're praying for your kids and grandkids as well. John, Kevin Baker, KG1, Miss ZZ. No, it does not mean the end of Rostech. Rostech is coming up in the next stream. Rostech is a different clan. Shoigu has nothing to do with the Rostech. Now, since you mentioned, Rostech was probably the reason why Shoigu was fired, because Shoigu is running into a shortage of weapons. There's been a conflict between Rostech, a pillar of Russian military-industrial complex, and the armed forces. Shoigu was demanding more ammo, just like Prigozhin was demanding for Shoigu. And I have heard that people have teamed up along with the owner of Rostech, and they had enough weight, more weight than Shoigu, to get him fired. So Rostech is a big winner here. Friends, if you want me to hear your comments, or not to hear, to see your comments and to read your questions, please put it in caps, put it in all caps, and put inside Russia after that sign, so it appears highlighted in a large orange box. Thank you so very much. And Jekyll Ann from Australia, as usual, in your way and your style, no message, but my friend, trust me, your message is very loud and it's heard here in Uzbekistan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Send in love to Australia. Kevin Baker, thank you so much for good words. Looking for questions and comments in caps, highlighted in orange. And I see a member, Frank in Texas, saying, I made it in time. Frank, 28 months, sponsor for 28 months. Friends, Frank was one of the first subscribers to Inside Russia when it wasn't even Inside Russia. It was called Letters to King. So, Frank, thank you, friend, for being with us every single time. New sponsor, James Freeland. Welcome to Inside Russia. Good to see you, friend. Now you have access to 9 news every single day, except for Sundays. We take Sundays off. Things we find important, worth mentioning, worth shedding light onto. So you can find them here in the sponsorship and on at Patreon if you sign up and become patron. Same news for sponsors and for patrons. And Larson, I hope you feel better and your daughter feels better. Viking 5227, Patrushev was also put in charge of shipbuilding. What the fudge is that all about? Viking, this is the answer. This could be nothing, or this could be symbolical. This could be nothing. Well, Patrushev is definitely not going to stay in that position. He is in transition. Yesterday in the video, or day before yesterday, I said that Patrushev will end up on top or on the bottom. We don't know where, but he's definitely in transition. And I was right. He is at his transition point now. He was given a job of a small potato manager, okay, at the chief of staff, the office of the chief of staff. I'll give you an example, like analogy. I started a project. I had a partner, and we were building a marketplace for trading soft commodities internationally. And my friend was, well, my business partner, he was a grain trader, and he had a company, large company, in the south of Russia. And we started, developing this project. And it was convenient for me to become part of his company as an employee. I need a business card, and, there were certain circumstances. And guess what position I got? A manager of the sales department. Although I was number, not say 2 in the company after the, shareholder, because we were developing this super secret, super big project. And I was pretty much calling the shots over the sales team. I was involving sales team. I had resources of the entire company, of his team. And no one asked questions. Everyone knew who I was. But on paper, I was just small-time manager. That's pretty much same thing that what Patrushev is right now. And he's not going to stay there for long. We will soon know. At this point, I don't know whether he's going up or down, but soon I will know. Please stay tuned. So, analogy also. Back in 1943, Russia was not 43, 34, I think. It was 34 or 35, 38, something like that. In the 30s, Russia was in the middle of so-called Red Terrors. Joseph Stalin was eliminating Russians. Bloody vampire, blood-sucking vampire. He killed so many millions of people. But he wasn't killing people with his own hands. He had special people for that. One of the special people was Yezhov. Народный комиссар, something. There's a commissar. And he was in charge of the KGB. Wasn't called like that. It was called NKVD. And basically, he was a very short guy. And he was just a serial killer. He loved killing people. And he was killed himself. He was fired. And then he was arrested. And he was charged with treason and, all kinds of good things. And he was executed. But before he was fired, he was given a different position. He was given position of this overseeing shipbuilding industry in the Soviet Union. Could this be analogy? I think it could be, but we don't know. We're going to find out. Viking, I hope I answered your question. Melissa, 15-month member, thank you so much. Have they found the bodies of those who didn't salute Putin yet? There's been so many news, I haven't checked. I'm going to keep track on that, of those people. You know what? I think that has something to do with fire and Shoigu. It's a big game, and we're seeing bits and pieces of it right now, but all the parts are interconnected. So Pinda the Peanut has given us gift of sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you so very much. I saw that I missed a couple super chats. Paula W. Saying I have watched over 2 years, been a member 18 months. Paula, thank you so much. I remember well. You joined, I think, way before war, a few months before war. Thank you. Scott Nesbitt, also member for 20 months, the pillar of Inside Russia, same as Pinda and Paula. This is the place to be. God love all. Thank you. Richard Burris, also member for so many months. Thank you so much. OHMS, long time no see. I remember you from earlier streams. You are just told me something that I don't know. And usually, friend, you're saying that 45th Spetsnaz Guard Brigade just made a coup statement. That is a serious allegation. And let me tell you something. If such statement was made, this is my telephone, and you would be hearing this. Beep, 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 because all the media channels, the Telegram channels I've subscribed to, would be giving this news. So far, my telephone is silent. Let me double check real quick. Not much, nothing. The biggest news right now that Ukrainians are moving back, leaving Volchansk in one of the villages. This is nothing major. OHMS, please give your source. Where did you hear that? Because if one of the Spetsnaz guards, this is, Spetsnaz GRU is a very, very serious force. And if they probably wouldn't make a statement. They would just move in. And they would be in the Kremlin before we know it, okay? So where'd you get your news? Tell me. I'm so anxious to know. Nige, thank you so much from the UK. Fantastic, appreciate it. No message, but message is heard. James Freeland, again, welcome to Inside Russia. Sandra Workman, sponsor for 23 months. Wow. Fantastic to see you. Thank you so much. I tried. And I see Crusader Damien, howdy friend. The best questions and statements come from Crusader Damien. Kremlin musical chairs is amusing, but means very little to the illegal war. Shoigu in or out makes no difference. Time is real enemy. Well, I would agree with you. No, Shoigu does make difference, okay? Because it's not time is the enemy, it's money. And time is money, okay? If by some actions they run out of money faster, then it's good. And decisions can either prolong the war or shorten it. That's how I would say that. Again, OHMS, where'd you get the Spetsnaz information? Because this is major on top major. Thank you. It was Warthog Defense Channel last week. I believe Telegram, but I don't know any more than that. Well, I don't think they would make a statement like that. They would move out without statement, and they would be stealthy and effective. Spetsnaz GRU is the best that Russia has to offer. Bleep and Bobby, does Putin go to Anji to play with them? No, I'm not sure why he doesn't play football. 10 days ago. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I don't watch Warthog. I watched when they featured me once, but that's about it. I can't watch everything, I watch sometimes economic news coming from Russia, but not military news. And Warthog is about military news. I don't believe that. That'd be major. I would know about that. Stefan, I fear that the new guy will become an effective Albert Speer to the Russian army. And it's not good for Ukraine. Well, I tried to explain that he will not become an Albert Speer, another one, to the Russian army. Not another, but like Albert Speer to another army. He will not become like Albert Speer to Russian army. I think he will fudge things up. That's what I think. We'll see. Peter Wenworth, good question. How is Shoigu Medvedev dynamic going to play out over in the silo of irrelevancy? Quite well. because the silo of irrelevancy is a big empty space, and they're gonna be there both. I can't say that's a dynamic duo, but duo, perhaps they, from what I understand, they can't stand each other, so they won't be doing much with each other, unless they make amends, which I don't think so. Mike Roffel, thank you so much. What after war? I am a little bit worried it might be a repeat of World War II and World War II Germany. Well, Mike, we've been discussing this for the past 2 years. I have been discussing it. I have compared what's happening at the front lines with World War II when both Germany and France didn't move much. They were just losing people, but not gaining ground. That's what's going on. World War II in Germany, we'll see. There are signs of that, big signs, and I've been alarming everyone about that, about Russia. It's gonna take at least a generation for Russia to become normal, if it ever becomes normal. Lisa, isn't Shoigu where he is? BC, he's Putin's personal friend and not very bright. He's Central Asian too. A strike against him. Well, he's not Central Asian. I'm sorry. He's Russian as Tuvinets. He's from Tiva. It's a part of Russia. It's not Central Asia. He's not Russian. He is personal friend. What is BC? He is personal friend of Putin. Not very bright. I wouldn't discard him as not very bright. He's person who climbs on the very top of Russia's vertical of power is actually bright. He was an engineer anyway. My friend in St. Petersburg, I used to work with him. He worked with Shoigu a long time ago in the early 80s in the city of Sayanogorsk. Sayanogorsk Aluminium Zavod. Shoigu was on a middle management position there in charge of warehousing, events, things like that. So it was, not dumb, definitely. OHMS, roger that, thank you so much. Wolfie, what about Georgia? Very sad news are coming from Georgia. They passed the foreign agent law, and this is how things started in Russia, and they went south from there. So Georgian people didn't do enough to not let this law happen. What about next in Georgia? I don't know. We'll just have to see. But Georgia is falling under the influence of Russia, unfortunately. Leslie Fleming, howdy. Hope Ukraine stops Russian advance. Me too. I'm watching Russia advancing, trying to advance. We'll see what happens. I mean, that Western military aid didn't come for nothing, Craig Hughes, it's like watching the end of the Third Reich. Hitler was left with Bormann and Goebbels. The rest plotted with the Allies to save themselves. Beware those hiding in plain sight. Craig, thank you. Couldn't have said better myself. Thank you. Werner Heiko Henning. Your name is so difficult to pronounce. I'm sorry. Werner. What about Putin going to China to report? What about it? He's going to China for the third time in the... No, not for the second time, but he's meeting Xi for the third time in a year. He met him in either April or March of 2023, and Flying is so dangerous. Well, we'll see. Boris, Shoigu has Ukrainian-born mother. Why? Those people have lost nationalities, they have lost ancestors, they have lost hearts, they have lost feelings. I doubt he cares much, okay? All the people on top, I'm pretty sure of that, they've been corrupted by my precious, by the power. They don't even have mothers anymore. D, have you heard about what's going on with Russia's train system? Do you think the oligarchs will overthrow Putin? I definitely have heard. Both, well, there are two systems, cargo and passenger, and both are in trouble. Making a video about that, about planes and trains. So I don't think the oligarchs will overthrow Putin. And again, keep on tuning in. I'm going to make an entire stream about that, possibly on Thursday, if nothing more important comes up. Elk Latu worked out perfectly well. I'm seeing you highlighted your message in orange. That works. Linda Trombley, love all your videos, learned a lot. Went through chemo and surgery last step. Hang on, Linda. Let me put you on prayers list. Putin needs to blame someone? Absolutely, absolutely. James Freeland, Putin needs, well, guess who's he's going to blame someone. Guess who he's going to blame? Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Who are you gonna call? Sergei Shoigu. That's his fault. He failed the military. He failed the trust. He was incompetent. Palvia Flex, they sound more like a company with a failing department reshuffling managers. Often the reshuffled managers get the brunt of the blame. Yes, you're right. Great Southern Land. Would Shoigu be required to travel overseas? No, he's the head of the security. No, he can't travel overseas. First of all, the minute he travels, he's going to get arrested and, sent to the wonderful country of the Netherlands. He is the head of Security Council for inside Russia. I doubt they will even let him travel because he might make a deal with the court, with investigation and tell things and blame things on someone, So they won't let him out, and it's just he's not required to fly anywhere. Again, he's not going to be doing anything, not much. JL, howdy friend, thank you for joining us. I was wondering if you saw the video about the Kremlin reshuffle from William Spaniel. No, I have not. I rarely watch anyone's videos except for the news themselves. But if you recommend, I give it a chance. William Spaniel. Most Western folks don't really know much what they're talking about. I'm not saying about William Spaniel. There are a few brilliant ones, but most they just go by data available from Russian government, and that's wrong. Liz Mailer, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming, stopping by and being with us. New sponsor, Gideon. Thank you so much for coming. Gloria, howdy. Oh, you know what? Before doing the stream, I gave the interview to the Jordan Harbinger show, Jordan Harbinger, podcaster, and we spoke like for 2 hours, and now I'm speaking for hour and a half, so it's 3.5 hours, and my tongue actually starts hurting. It's a good sign. I gotta wrap it up. Ann Larson, what do you think will happen to Russians who fled to Georgia if when Georgia gets closer to Russia with this new foreign agent law? Well, nothing. Nothing will happen to Russians, at least for now, because this foreign agent law is aimed at the Georgians, not the Russians. And the Georgian government will start taking freedoms away from the Georgians. And Russians are safe probably for a year, couple years in Georgia. So nothing, I wouldn't be escaping now if I lived in Georgia. Bob S., thank you so much. Hellporter trains might need imports for control systems, but track upkeep is just civil engineering. Aviation, even auto truck road operation may be more complicated. How is everything falling apart? Well, aviation is falling apart. Planes, accidents every single day. Lack of maintenance, wrong maintenance, lack of spare parts, lack of staff, lack of pilots. Trains, well, guess what? Many high-speed trains were manufactured by Siemens. There's a certain model of train that was supplied here to Russia, and they need maintenance, regular maintenance. Some of the trains have been cannibalized. A lot of Russian trains use foreign-made components, parts. They don't have access to anymore. Anyway, wait, I'll come out with a video, not stream, but with a video on this topic. From New Zealand, Teslans, thank you so much. Good to see you. Thank you for supporting. Yes, this is your predictions in motion for sure. Take care. Thank you so much, friend. Much appreciated, the support. KG1, partisan attacks seem to be growing in number. Yes, you're right. What do you think make up their ranks? Who do you think make up their ranks? I don't know. I would suggest it's those Russians who were who left the Russian army, or those Russians who simply went to the other side. I don't know. Perhaps some agents inside Russia. Perhaps even some conscious Russians. Great Southern Land. It will only take a couple of wealthy oligarchs to get rid of Putin. The new Minister of Defense could be the catalyst. He could be. He could be the catalyst. He could be a tool, okay? Because kind of reminded me a little bit. Vladimir Putin was also nobody when he was given his share of power. And look what that being nobody has brought him to. Belousov kind of reminds me of Putin in that terms. Nobody. We'll see. Nobodies usually are agreed on by different sides and, you know, put on top. from communists to fight hard against the fascists while the USSR wanted Greece to fold and surrender. He was so successful for that sometime. There were two Greek pravdas that both were claiming that. Thank you. Lorna, Konstantin will not answer lowercase comments. Well, if a comment is interesting, I will answer it. It's just I don't notice them much, if you know what I mean. I always look for comments in caps, and in like 90% of cases, I overlook comments not in caps. Transnistria. I made a stream about that. It's too much. It's a big question, you know. Go and watch my stream on Transnistria. Hugo Claro, will the minister fly out a window if he does not keep the corruption going? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's really hard to say at this point. He might even fall out of the window if he get corruption going, or he fights corruption, or just for the sake of it, you know. Perhaps they'll see if he can fly. They do that sometimes, I heard. Thank you so much. Folks, I'm gonna wrapping up. What happened to the lights behind me? Were they like this? Did I forget to turn them on? Oh, that's a bummer. Anyway, thank you so much. I invite everyone to finish the live stream with a usual prayer. I see quite a few people today, and thank you for coming. If you're religious, please pray with me. If you're not, please send good vibes, good wishes, good energy. You know, I think that you are also religious because you have love in your hearts. I have not seen one person without love. Even Vladimir Putin probably has a little bit of love to some kind, I mean, right? So that love is God for me. And so everyone who has love in their hearts has God in their hearts. And whether we believe in God or not, he doesn't really care. As long as he's in our hearts, that's what matters. So thank you so much. Let's pray. Ken, thank you for your support. Much appreciated. No message, but message is heard and much, much appreciated. So please, everyone, join me in prayer. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe, and give us wisdom to raise our kids in the way that they will never fight with each other, they will never fight any worse when they grow up, just love each other. For now, please keep our kids safe and healthy, because they are our world and our life. Dear Lord, please help Ukraine, stop the bloodshed, reach out and touch the hearts and souls of those who are responsible and capable. Wake them up, remind them, shake them up, remind them that they're still human beings with feelings. Please have them stop the bloodshed that is happening in Ukraine. Please help every single Ukrainian who has been affected, answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Please help my country, Russia. Assemble your army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords and send them to fight off and get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their faces and by their names. Have angels help Russians, good Russians, to run Russia, make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Please help all who are traveling, send them safe travels. Help those who are in trouble, danger of any kind in high waters. Please send them safety. Please help single mothers who are struggling, trying to make ends meet. Send help their way. Help the Ukrainians who are under Russian attacks right now, who are evacuating. who are running away from danger, please send your angels to watch over them and keep everyone safe. God bless those who are helping Ukrainians. Dear Lord, please help the sick, the addicted, the hungry, the homeless, the jobless, the depressed, the betrayed, the lonely, the ones who are losing their faith, the ones who are not feeling about themselves and about their lives. Fill their hearts with your love and have them feel you right next to them. Have them see you watching every step that they take. Have them feel you right next to them, helping them, not leaving them, being with them. Reveal yourself in their hearts. Please do that. That will make everyone's life so much happier. Thank you, dear Lord, for allowing us to assemble and pray together. Thank you for everyone who is praying with me right now, for every single person. If I am asking you to make everyone's prayer heard and answered, and everyone wish to come true. Thank you, dear Lord. I would like also to ask for some people who need your help. And I would like to ask everyone to pray for these people. And they are Remy, Gabing with Gary, Koshkin Dom, Paula W. Please help find a place to live. Dennis, Alex from Albuquerque, Lisa Cumrian, Tom W. Please send recovery after the hip replacement. Terry Carter, Ron Klotzer, John McLean, help with diet. Linda Trombley, please help with recovery. Ann Larson and her daughter Hannah, Jeffrey S. and his family members, Mark Rutten, Mommy K and Mommy K's mother, Susie Mailer, please send strength and love. Sandra Dunn, Jason Carney, please send complete recovery. Jay Spike, James Marston, Frank Caprio, Jim in Houston, Frank in Texas, Tim Mayers, Dominic, Larry B, Colleen's Dead, Natalia Blaga, Buzz Salmon, Wayne, Dave, Don, Scan family members, Rhonda McGillis, Dory, Morgan L, Electrons family, John, Bogey Berger and Sons, Kurt from Colorado, Deborah, Kyle E's wife, Hannah, Julia Haney, Liz Dumbrell, Darla, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Natalia, Yelena, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Grace, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church, Randolph, Liz, Karen, David Porter, his family, and everyone in Chernovtsi, everyone in the part of the Ukraine where Russian army is advancing to, Alvin, Meta Spencer, Stephen from Sweden, The Highwayman, Live, Pamela J, and a little girl Hannah and her parents. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me a chance to deliver another message. I would like to remind that you're absolutely awesome and you rock. Please come back tomorrow for World's News Update. Should be a good one. On Thursday will be more talk of Russia and the clan war, and it's very interesting. We're seeing the storm revealing itself, finally. All kinds of storm. Economic storm, political storm, power storm, everything. So, please come back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and every day after that. Before I sign off, I would like to ask you, as usual, please say along with me as loud as you can the following. Carthago delenda est.